Welcome to Sports Update on Breakfast Central. I am Udoka Njoku. The Confederation of African Football President Patrice Motsepe says that Morocco's run to the semi-finals of the World Cup in Qatar should be celebrated across the continent and viewed as a step closer to an African team lifting the trophy. Motsepe is optimistic an African team can reach the final of the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
Not where it should be. These are indeed proud moments and a proud period for football on the African continent, taking into account the performance of all of our five national teams that were representing Africa at the FIFA World Cup Qatar, and in particular the historic achievements of Morocco that has made all of us exceptionally proud. They've made all of us in Africa uniquely proud. And I must say, I got messages, and I know that our football leaders in Morocco as well got messages. And in the statement, you will see what some of the remarks are that I'm making. But I got messages from far afield as Indonesia. We've got business interests in Indonesia. And many of my friends in the Arab world, some of whom I haven't heard and haven't spoken to for some time, but of course, many of whom are in contact with me. And they were saying, yes, we know Africa is very excited and very proud of Morocco's achievement. And they said, we just want to tell you, President, that for us as well in the Arab world, there's a unique sense.
Now, former FIFA President Sepp Blatter has accused his successor, Gianni Infantino, of disrespect while criticizing plans to expand the World Cup. The 2022 edition of the World Cup, which was held in Qatar, is the last to feature its current 32-team format, with 48 nations set to take part in the 2026 event. Infantino has pushed for an expansion since he replaced Sepp Blatter and has explored moving the World Cup to either a biennial or triennial cycle. His predecessor suggests he is not acting in the best interest of the sport. Infantino revealed plans for a 32-team Club World Cup earlier this month, returning to a planned expansion originally stopped by the COVID-19 pandemic. The proposal is still subject to Confederation approval and is expected to generate pushback from several leading clubs, particularly in the wake of the failed European Super League breakaway. Still talking about football now to the female side. The top FIFA women's football official has disclosed Zambia forward Barbara Banda is eligible to play at the 2023 Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. Now, the 22-year-old was excluded from the 2022 Women's Africa Cup of Nations by the Zambian Football Association after it was reported that she failed a gender eligibility test. FIFA's chief women's football officer, Sarai Berman, says Banda is welcome to play at the FIFA Women's Mondial from July 2023 after a medical form the Confederation of African Football adopted from FIFA that led to her exclusion is now being revised. Banda shot to global prominence at the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo when she became the first female player to score consecutive hat-tricks in the game's long history. Now, after sitting out the WAFCON in July 2022, she returned to the national team in September and helped Zambia win a regional Southern African title for the first time, emerging as both the top scorer and the best player of the tournament. World Football Governing Body, FIFA, estimates the new guidelines for gender eligibility will be released before the 2023 Women's World Cup, but it remains non-committal on whether gender testing will be a mainstay of the women's game going forward. And moving over to racial abuse now in the world of rugby, 28-year-old Guinea-born Italian Cherif Traore, who plays for Benetton Treviso, called out his teammates after being the victim of racist jokes during an anonymous Secret Santa exchange. The Italy international rugby player disclosed he was given a rotten banana in a rubbish bag at a Christmas dinner for the club's players. Now, Traore, who is a prop for Italy and Treviso, revealed the incident on social media. In his post, which has now been deleted, Traore said he does not normally react to racist jokes in order not to make enemies with people around him, but that he could not let this insult slide. In a statement, Benetton Rugby said they have always condemned with the utmost firmness any expression of racism or any form of discrimination. The club added that the incident has nothing to do with sports, and the club will always stand for respecting players, the people, their culture, their ethnicity, their faith, and of course, their dignity. Still talking rugby now, South Africa has been confirmed as a host nation for the 3-day men's and women's World Rugby Sevens Challenger Series in April 2023. Now, World Rugby announced that the tournament will take place in Stellenbosch from April 23rd to 28th, and the winner of the Women's Challenger Series will gain automatic promotion to the 7th World Series 2024, while the winner of the Men's Challenger Series will enter a 4-team playoff at the London Sevens in May 2023. And that's a wrap on Sports Update on Breakfast Central. I'm Udoka Njoko. Back to you, Sarage and Olive.
Thank you very much, Udoka. Just a quick question. Do you think that we would ever, get to see the end of racism in sports?
It's difficult to say, but of course we'll keep fighting. We'll keep fighting that vice in the society, but it is here to stay, and the best we can do is for the officials to keep punishing all those offenders, not just by reducing points from the football clubs now, but maybe by sending the fans away. And if you get to relegate these clubs, then I'm sure the individuals who partake in this act of racism will actually understand that it is affecting everything in the world.
Yeah, there should be stiffer punishment measures, because when you know that the punishment measures are stiff, you would not encourage it or even keep quiet. They say that evil thrives when good men keep quiet. I think not just the fact that that was humiliating, but the fact that they saw it as a joke. You see it as a joke and you're laughing. What's funny about that?
True.
Yeah,
true.
So I agree, stiffer punishment. And if we ever get to a state where a club can lose as much as 10 to 15, maybe even 20 points, maybe they would understand what's going on.
And they can bottle up the racism.
Absolutely.
So at least you don't have to show it. Even if you can't stop being a racist, bottle it up.
Unfortunately, you will continue to see these things because we still live in a racist world. So every now and then, these things must still show their, where their ugly heads. But if people can be punished, if clubs can be punished, then maybe we'll be able to hide it better, and teach people certain lessons.
I totally agree with you. Because it is affecting everything, not just in rugby. It also happens in football. We've seen it happen in the EPL a lot of times. Remember when Balotelli was still playing for Manchester City, and when he moved over to Italy, he's been suffering from racist abuse. And for Sterling also, from Man City to Liverpool to Chelsea now, still suffering from that abuse. It happens a whole lot of times, and I just wish that this will stop. But it looks like, FIFA actually trying to battle this. FIFA and UEFA, all football governing bodies trying to battle this. But it is not for them to battle. It is that individual to realize that this is wrong. And those things they're teaching their children when they grow up to also become racist. We need to stop that education of being racist. So it starts with us, and we'll keep fighting until we get it clear.
All right. Thank you very much for those stories. So we'll see you again.
Thank you very much.